President is being kept regularly updated on what's happening, as you just stated, across the country. He is monitoring the situation closely, so is his team.
Tensions remain high on college campuses across the U.S., a day after over 300 pro-Palestinian protesters were arrested on Tuesday in mass police raids on the campuses of Columbia and City College of New York. A coalition of Columbia University professors are backing student protesters and condemning police activity on campus. School leaders will go down in infamy for calling the police to disperse protesters, Columbia professor Rashid Khalidi said at a Wednesday press conference.
Columbia's surreal response to the protesters' non-violent takeover of Hins Hall turned our campus into a war zone. The university called the NYPD to storm campus with militarized police.
Our students remain principled, remain strong, remain tenacious in the face of police violence, in the face of brutalization, and in the face of bad faith negotiating by their university.
I watched as an EMT pleaded to be allowed to treat students, as police laughed and turned off their body cameras, and as press were prevented from bearing witness. Columbia and the cops collaborated to brutalize my classmates in the dark for standing up for what is right.
Meanwhile, the University of California, Los Angeles canceled classes on Wednesday after midnight the night before when pro-Israel protesters attacked the pro-Palestinian activist encampment, setting off a wide-scale brawl. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said at a press briefing on Wednesday that United States President Joe Biden is being updated about the campus protest over Gaza taking place across the country and is monitoring the situation closely.
And here at home, there's been some dramatic images really across the country over the last 24, 48 hours, especially at the Columbia, UCLA last night, University of Madison, Wisconsin, other campuses. Has the president been monitoring this? And why have we not heard directly from the president about these protests that have taken over institutions of higher learning across the country, the police responses, instances of violence? Why have we not heard directly from the president?
So just a couple of things. The president is being kept regularly updated on what's happening, as you just stated, across the country. He is monitoring the situation closely, so is his team. And I would just add that no president has spoken more forcefully about combating anti-Semitism than this president. Let's not forget, in 2017, he was very clear what we saw, the anti-Semitic vile that we saw in Charlottesville, on the streets of Charlottesville. He called that out. He called that out. And one of the reasons he stepped into the 2020 election is because of what he saw, is because he wanted to speak out and speak against what we were seeing in this country at that time. Democracy was under attack. Our freedoms were under attack, and we're still fighting for that today, obviously. But he hasn't just done that by speaking. As you heard from my topper, he's taken action. He's taken action by moving forward with the first ever U.S. national strategy to counter anti-Semitism. More than 100 new actions were introduced, obviously, in that strategy. And that is how seriously this president takes it. And I think what's important here is that he's taken action on this issue.
Support those police clearing operations like we saw in New York. We've seen some of these other college campuses.
Look, we've been very clear on that. Americans have the right to peacefully protest. They have the right to peacefully protest, as long as it's within the law and that it's peaceful. Forcibly taking over a building is not peaceful. It's just not. Students have the right to feel safe. They have the right to learn. They have the right to do this without disruption. And they have a right to feel safe on campus, as I just said. They have a right to attend their commencement without feeling unsafe. And what we're seeing is a small percentage of students. That's what we're seeing. They should not be able to disturb or disrupt the academic experience that students have. So, look, that's how we see things. It is important that students and communities feel safe here. And at the same time, we are going to be really forceful here and continue to underscore how anti-Semitism is hateful speech. It is wrong, it is abhorrent, and we're going to continue to call that out.